Jerry's Book Tree.
Young Cam Jansen and the Substitute Mystery. David A. Adler. Illustrated by Susanna, Natii.
Cam's amazing memory. Miss D is out today. Sit down, sit down, Danny called out. He was standing on Miss D's desk. Miss D is absent, so I'm the teacher today. Cam Jansen, her friend Eric Shelton, and the others in Cam's class did not sit down. Oh, so you won't sit down, Danny shouted. You're being punished. I won't give you something. I won't give you, Danny said, then thought for a moment. I won't give you homework. That's why I won't give you. Hey, Tim said, Danny is a great teacher. Oh, a man said. He was by the door to the class. He had books, papers, and a lunch bag. I thought I was the teacher. Danny jumped off the desk. He hurried to his seat. The others in the class hurried to their seats too. Is this Miss D's class? The man asked. Yes, Eric said. The man walked in. He dropped the books, papers, and lunch bag on Miss D's desk. I'm Mr. Baker, he told the class. I'm not a baker who bakes. I'm a baker who teaches. Miss D is absent, so today I'm your teacher. Mr. Baker sat in Miss D's seat. He looked through his papers. Oh my, he said. Miss D left me a note, but I can't find it. Tim told Mr. Baker, there's a paper in your pocket. Maybe it's a note. Mr. Baker looked in his pants pocket, but didn't find the note. It's in your shirt pocket, Tim said. Oh, here it is, Mr. Baker said. He opened the note and read it aloud. I left math work for the class. It's on the board. Mr. Baker turned. There was no math work on the chalkboard. The custodian must have washed it, Eric said. Now what do I do? Mr. Baker asked. We all saw it. Miss D wrote it yesterday afternoon during silent reading, Eric said. Now you ask Cam to say click. Click? What's click? Mr. Baker asked. Cam has an amazing memory, Eric said. She has a mental camera with pictures in her head of everything she's seen. When she wants to remember something, she just says click. That's the sound her mental camera makes. Cam stood by the chalkboard. She closed her eyes and said click. She looked at the picture she had in her head. Then she wrote all the math problems. Miss D had written on the board, Cam's real name is Jennifer, but when people found out about her great memory, they called her the camera. Soon the camera became just Cam. Mr. Baker looked at what Cam had written. You really do have an amazing memory, he said. The square egg. The children in Cam's class copied the work from the chalkboard. Danny didn't. What do I do next? Danny asked. Next? Mr. Baker asked. Have you done all the math work? No, Danny answered. I haven't done any work. I just want to know if there's something fun to do next. When you're done with the math work, Mr. Baker said, you may read a book. I'll read a joke book, Danny said. That's fun. Danny quickly copied the math problems. I'm done, he said. Eric turned and asked, you have answers to all the problems? Sure, I have answers, Danny said. I have wrong answers. I just wrote any number. I don't care. Mr. Baker isn't our real teacher. Well, I care, Eric said. I want the right answers. Danny opened his joke book. Hey, he asked Eric, what did the hen say when she laid a square egg? Shh, Eric said. I'm trying to do my math problems. No, Danny told Eric. Why would a hen want to do math problems? The hen said, ouch. That's what the hen said. Oh, Eric said. That's very interesting. The children worked on their math problems. Then they read. Ring, ring. It was the class telephone. Mr. Baker picked it up. Hello, he said, and listened. He put the telephone down and told the class. That was Dr. Prell, the principal. She said it's almost time for lunch. We should take our coats. After lunch, we're going outside to play. Yeah! Many of the children shouted. I'm going too, Mr. Baker said, and he looked at the chair beside Miss D's desk. Oh my, he said. There's my lunch, but where's my coat? Cam solves mysteries. Are you sure you wore a coat? Eric asked. Did I? Mr. Baker asked himself. I drove here this morning. Look, there's my car. He pointed to a red car in the school parking lot. He checked his pockets. Look, he said. He took everything from his pockets and put it on Miss D's desk. I have papers, bubblegum, pens, coins, and a wallet, he said. I came in my car, but my car keys and cell phone are not here. I must have left them in my coat pockets. Cam said, Maybe you left your coat in your car. Maybe I did, Mr. Baker said. He hurried to the telephone. He called Dr. Prio. He asked her to send someone to watch the class. A few minutes later, Mr. Day, the gym teacher, walked into the room. I'm sorry, Mr. Baker told Mr. Day. I forgot where I left my coat. I'll be right back, he told the class. Cam watched through the window. She saw Mr. Baker go outside. He tried to open the door of his car, but the doors were locked. Mr. Baker looked through the car windows. Then he walked back inside. My coat is not in my car, he told the class. Now what do I do? Mr. Baker asked. No, you ask Cam to help you, Mr. Day said. Cam clicks and solves mysteries. Cam closed her eyes and said, Click. She said, Click again. Then Cam opened her eyes. This time, clicking won't help, Cam said. I never saw Mr. Baker's coat. That's too bad, Mr. Day said. I'd like to stay and help, but I must get back to the gym. Mr. Baker thanked Mr. Day. Then Mr. Baker sat by Miss D's desk. He shook his head and asked, Now what do I do? I need my coat. I need my coat, Mr. Baker said. It's cold outside. I need my keys too. Maybe I can help, Eric said. We know you wore your coat to school. You didn't bring it to class, so you must have left it somewhere between your car and this room. Where did you go? Cam asked. After you left your car. Mr. Baker went to the window. He pointed to the path by the side of the school. I walked there, he said. I came into school and went to the main office. That's it, Eric said. You left your coat in the main office. Mr. Baker called the main office. He spoke with Dr. Prio. Then he shook his head and told the class, That's not it. I didn't leave my coat in the main office. You left the coat on your way to this room, Eric said. Now we walk slowly to the main office and look for it. That's a good idea, Mr. Baker said. He stood and said, Get your coats and lunches, then follow me. Mr. Baker took his lunch bag. The class got their coats and lunches and followed Mr. Baker. They looked and didn't find Mr. Baker's coat. Then Eric turned and looked for Cam. Where is she? Where's Cam? He asked. Oh no, Mr. Baker said. First I lost my coat, now I lost one of the children. You didn't lose her, Danny said. She's standing over there with her eyes closed. Just then Cam clapped her hands. I just remembered something, Cam said. Now I know how to find Mr. Baker's coat. A great idea. Did you click and remember something you saw? Eric asked. No, Cam said. I remembered something I heard. Then Cam asked Mr. Baker, Did you say you have your keys and your cell phone in the pockets of your coat? Yes, Mr. Baker answered. Let's call your cell phone. If it's somewhere between here and our classroom, we'll hear the ringing. That's a great idea, Mr. Baker said. I'll use the office telephone. Cam told her classmates to spread out in the hall and listen for the ringing. Mr. Baker went to the office. He called his cell phone. Ring, ring. I hear it, Danny said. Mr. Baker came out of the office. It came from in there, Danny said. He pointed to the door of the teacher's room. Mr. Baker hurried to the teacher's room. Cam and the other children did too. Mr. Baker opened the door. There was a green coat on the couch. I forgot, Mr. Baker said. I came here this morning before I went to class. I'm the one who found your coat. Thank you, Mr. Baker said to Danny. Thank you too, he said to Cam. You remember things you see and things you hear. You really are amazing. Mr. Baker opened his lunch bag. I wonder what I have for lunch. Then Mr. Baker laughed. I prepared my lunch and I forgot what it is. Oh, I wish I had a click memory. He looked in his lunch bag and said, I wish I had a dessert too. The children in Miss D's class ate lunch. They shared their desserts with Mr. Baker. Then they went outside to play.